Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Halloween Happy. If you are new here, my name is Sam. In today's video, I decided to do a little updated Q&A in case you're new here. You can get to know me a little bit better before we get into good old Halloween season. Oh god, Raven is like scaring me. You guys hear her panting? It is so warm today in Salem. I think they said it was supposed to get up in the 80s. As I was saying, I asked my amazing supporters over on my Patreon to ask me some questions that I would answer in a video over here on my YouTube channel. And if you guys want to support my channel, you can definitely become a supporter over on my Patreon. There's different perks that we have. I think this video will go up before, but currently, as of now, there's a few more spaces for our Creep It Real tier. We are doing a Halloween celebration at the end of the month. I'm so excited. I'm gonna make these little like trick-or-treat kits to mail to the members, and we're just gonna have a fun little Halloween party. I can't wait. So if you guys are interested, definitely check out my Patreon. There might be some space available depending on when you try to sign up. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So all of these questions, like I mentioned, are coming from my supporters over on Patreon. So thank you guys so much for supporting that, and thank you for your questions. First question comes from Halloween Variant. Favorite Halloween candle memory? My favorite candle is it's like a spicy pumpkin, cinnamon, like a patchouli mix. I love burning all of those candles. Kind of reminds me of when I would throw my Halloween parties back in Kansas. I would always kind of layer my candles so everyone got just like a whiff of different phases of Halloween night, if you know what I mean. Really love Sweet Cinnamon Pumpkin from Bath & Body, and it could be any kind of like spicy sweet pumpkin. That reminds me of my mom so much. If I would go stay at my grandparents' house for the weekend, or if I would go to a friend's house during the weekend when I was younger, my mom would end up cleaning the house, and then it just always smelled like a sweet cinnamon pumpkin. It smelled so good, and it just made me feel so cozy, so safe. So next question comes from Katie. What are your favorite ways to spend Halloween day and night from start to finish? This is a really fun question. It's also a very difficult question because I think it depends on my mood, honestly. If I'm feeling good, if I'm feeling like being around a lot of people, I will definitely do that. If I'm not, I'm totally fine with staying at home. Pretend that it's a Halloween that I'm feeling good. Like waking up early, enjoying like that fall crisp morning smell where the dew is still on the grass, heading down to Red's for breakfast, walking downtown here in Salem, dressing up, people watching. I do love to people watch, so getting a coffee later on in the day, walking around downtown, taking photos, all sorts of stuff. Coming back, maybe taking like a little breather because, you know, a lot of people, it's a lot of energy to soak in your soul. Coming back, watching a horror movie, maybe making something like a spooky dinner or something like that, you know. It's so hard because it's like, do you want to spend Halloween out? Do you want to spend it in? All the action is downtown, and if you're here, like, you gotta be in downtown Salem on Halloween. They have like different little areas with like DJs, they have some beer gardens, they have some vendors that you can shop from, so it's just like being downtown and kind of walking about. Do you see how it's hard to decide the perfect Halloween day? It really just depends on my mood. So this question comes from Pumpkin Spiced Hufflepuff. What is your most cherished Halloween decoration? So here's one of them. It's this light up coffin. Do you guys remember this from a long time ago from Michael's? These were like so popular. This was like one of the must-have items of that year. Let me know if you guys remember this. It's seen better days, but this came from Big Lots, I think the same year. This was a hot item as well. An old friend I guess her kids had it, but then she was just gonna throw it out. Jack-o'-lantern pillow. It is humongous. I love this thing so much. It's from 2011. It's one of my favorite pieces. It just brings me so much happiness. This little hanging skeleton, he's so cute. Actually got this from Hobby Lobby when they used to sell Halloween decor. They were really the only ones that would carry it. Home decor, whereas like maybe Walmart and Kmart at the time had more like Halloween party decor. Heartburners. And this one says eek. It is like my favorite thing. It's the same, but it does say boo. I got these from Target a few years back, maybe like 2 or 3 years ago actually. This sign right here, it says Happy Halloween. It lights up. It's one of my favorite, it's probably like my top 2. One of my top 2 Halloween signs. It lights up. It's really cute. I love the bats. I like the wire. I like that it's like just a big box pretty much, kind of like a box light. Princess asks, hey Sam, how are you doing today? Day of recording. What is your favorite and most hated part about living in Salem? Thank you for being you and have a wonderful day. Princess, thank you so much and thank you for being you truly. Today honestly, I'm doing okay. Just having like some self-doubts, but that's normal in my world. And you know, it's a warmer day, which I'm kind of excited about, which is very unusual for me because if you guys don't know, I have severe depression all the time, but some people get depression from gloomy and rainy weather, whereas me, I thrive off of that weather, and the sun just makes me feel even more depressed and more low. I just don't feel great when it's like sunny and when it's hot. I'm sure some of you guys can relate, but today I'm able to film this video. I'm able to get some work done. You know, I cleaned my office last night, so I'm calling today a win. So my favorite part about living in Salem, I think, is that, I mean, there's so many things that I do like about living in Salem. I like that we can walk downtown. I just like the downtown atmosphere. Like, it's a small little town, but then it's also kind of like city. It's close to Boston. I really love that it's by the ocean. Like, I still often forget that when we walk downtown, we can just walk a little bit further and literally see the ocean. It's so amazing. I just love water. I love being around water. It just makes me feel very grounded. I do love that it's spooky a lot of the times. There's always something going on. My least favorite thing, honestly, is the cost of living. It's crazy to me. So just to give you like an idea, and maybe you guys can let me know like what the average cost of a home is where you live, but in Kansas you can get like a really nice home. Like, a mansion in Kansas is probably, like, we consider a mansion back in Kansas, you can get it for like $175,000 if you were to buy a house. And then whereas here the same house that you could buy in Kansas, what they would charge here for it is probably like over $500,000. That is my least favorite thing, is the cost of living, because my paycheck just doesn't go as far here as it did in Kansas. So next question comes from Mandy Mo. Hi Sam, I was wondering if you were a vegetarian. I noticed your nacho toppings don't seem to include meat. Also, if you had to choose a fictional character most relatable to you, who would it be? The character question is great. I feel like I should have thought about this more, but so am I a vegetarian? I'm actually not a vegetarian. I was a vegan for a few years, and honestly, I don't know if it was because I was younger, but I did feel so great and I felt so wonderful. It's probably the best that I felt in my life when I was vegan. I remember like I think it was probably nachos at one of my Halloween parties, and I was like, let me have some cheese. And then since then I was just a vegetarian, and then stayed a vegetarian for a few years after that. Started dating Joe, and when we would visit each other, that's when I just kind of became more relaxed about eating meat. And I wish that I could go back to being vegan, but I just can't. I have some issues with food, so it's just very I just try not to think about it right now. So next question comes from Letizia. What are you most excited for this Halloween season? Probably the shopping. And of course, the cooler weather. I love fall. I love dressing for the fall season. Just looking forward to fall, making me feel good, making me a little more happier, if you know what I mean. The next question comes from Amanda. Hey Ghoul, is there any word yet about Halloween decor being released in early July like they did last year? What are your thoughts on this? It does seem to be a little bit earlier each year, especially with just social media and like the Halloween communities continue to grow more and more. July seems to be like the sweet spot. I mean, obviously I don't mind it. Could they release it sooner? Yes, like please. At home, they do great with putting their Halloween out. Hobby Lobby, but they are the first ones that put out fall decor, like window shopping and just looking at the pumpkins and the candles and the fall like faux foliage that they put out in the aisles. TJ Maxx and like Home Goods, they definitely put their stuff out earlier than they did in the past. Get it right then and there. It sells out so fast. The last company that puts out Halloween, and of course we're talking about like big chain retail places, right? Target. Like I really don't understand. Like Target, we do not need school supplies for Tommy and Jenny. We don't need it end of July, August, September through October. No, Jenny and Tommy need Halloween costumes. So can we get the Halloween stuff out maybe like early September? I don't think that's too much to ask for. The next question comes from Rayshawn, and she says, my question is, what TV shows are you watching and books are you currently reading? Currently, the TV shows that I'm watching started Golden Girls because I realized that it has given me some joy in watching. It's kind of been like a comfort show to me. Honestly, feel like a kid when I was at my babysitter's house watching it on TV. The shows that I currently watch are like Vanderpump Rules. I watch a lot of the Housewives shows. What else? Currently watching Yellow Jackets. I'm also waiting for Single Drunk Female to come back. Watching Grownish, kind of go back and forth with it just because I feel like the show's a little bit different. Pretty much everyone left it. And then what's another show that I'm watching? I watch a lot of H3 honestly here on YouTube. Oh, I actually just finished up the first season of a show called Am I Being Unreasonable? BBC original. I think it just got renewed for season 2. It has Daisy Mae Cooper, I believe is her name. This is the first that I've learned of her, but she's in it, and I think the show is by her as well. It is so good. It's kind of about like she's a mom and she meets this new friend who kind of maybe went on a Tinder date with her husband, but she didn't know that the husband was married, and it just kind of seems to get a little like there's a little like entanglement, you know what I mean? Finished up Servant, which is one of my favorite shows. I would definitely watch that again. I want to finish Supernatural, but I also don't because I just don't want to come to the realization and know that it's over with. Please let me know what you guys are watching because I'm always looking for shows to watch. I'm currently reading this book, actually one of my Halloween Happy supporters, friends had sent this to me. The Highly Sensitive Person. This is by Elaine N. Aaron, PhD. How to Thrive When the World Overwhelms You. I highly, highly recommend this to anyone who is like a sensitive soul. If you get overwhelmed by people's energy, just by like normal daily things that I feel like a lot of people don't get bothered by. And it kind of just makes you feel like you are, like nothing's wrong with you, and it kind of gives you the tools of how to deal with these things. It's like, do you have a keen imagination and vivid dreams? Is time alone each day as essential to you as food and water? Are you too shy, too sensitive according to others? Do you feel overwhelmed by bright lights and noise? Like, if you're sensitive to clothes, lights, sounds, like movement, which I am, I love, love, love this book. I've cried a few times reading it, but currently I'm just reading self-help books. There have been some of you guys who have recommended some, what do you call it? Sci-fi romance novels. Apparently you've tried to read these books and you've really liked them. It sounds like a lot of them are, you know, they get you hot and bothered, which is always fun. I do have a running list of recommendations of those books because I do want to give it a try. This question is from Holly. If someone were to visit Salem just for one day, what are the must-dos while there? If you were to visit Salem for just one day, which I personally think, like, say if you ever came to Boston or something, you could do Salem in one day if it wasn't like in the peak of the busiest season. I've had like a few little like to-do list that I've created that have been like in the Haunted Happenings magazine. I should probably share those on my social, but I would say definitely go to Breakfast at Red's. It's like such a staple here in Salem. And honestly, just walking up Essex Street, you hit all of the shops. Check out Count Orlok's. It's a horror monster museum. There's a lot of cool horror things and like collectibles in there. Check out Witch City Thrift. You can't go wrong with anything that you do in Salem. You really can't. And this is always such a hard question for me to answer. They check out the Witchery. If you are into crafting, check them out because they do like little crafting sessions where you could do broom making, journals and stuff, which is really cool because it's like you're making something in Salem and then you get to take that with you. Gulu Gulu Cafe. That has an awesome atmosphere. I personally think you should check out the filming locations from Hocus Pocus because why not? Like, hello. If you're into it, which I have done it before, I would get like a tarot card reading. I would get a psychic reading. Walk through the cemetery, you guys. Like, come on. Sandy wanted to know what is your favorite Halloween item that you have, and I will have already answered this or will answer it at the end of the video depending how I edit this. And then she also wanted to know how I met Joe. I actually met Joe through YouTube, believe it or not. At the time, he had a YouTube channel where he would do like horror related videos, and then I was just doing my Halloween thing. We became friends, you know, we started dating eventually. So this question comes from Renee, and she is asking, what are some of your favorite podcasts, favorite YouTube channels, favorite bands, and singers? Favorite podcasts, so it would be H3, which I mentioned. Sword and Scale, it is a true crime podcast. I really love that one. I listen to Juicy Scoop, which is done by a comedian. Her name is Heather McDonald. I started listening to this because of Vanderpump Rules. I did start listening to Sheena's podcast, and then I'm trying to think what other podcast. Inside the Mind of a CEO, I think is what it's called. It's really interesting. They just have like a lot of like business owners, entrepreneurs, like actors, singers. It just really depends, but it's really about just things that people have overcame in their life, and they'll give like just their tips and kind of, it's just a very encouraging podcast. YouTube channel H3 because I watch it, well, listen to it through YouTube. I don't listen to it like on anything else. I don't even think it's on anything else. Is it called 10 to Life with Annie Elise, I believe? And then like Kendall Ray, she does true crime. I watched that. Brotherly Love, guys. Oh my God, my heart is exploding. So I don't know if any of you guys remember or know the Lawrence brothers, but like Joey Lawrence, Andy, and Matt Lawrence, they recently started a podcast and they do it in video format. And so I watch that all the time. Hilarious. Like, I pretty much just try to watch things that make me not think of like what's going on in my life. So like watching Full Coverage. And then I just found out that Penn Badgley has a podcast called Crush Favorite Bands and Singers. So just quickly to name a few, Betty Who, I love, love, love. I actually just went to a concert of hers in Boston at the House of Blues. And then The Sounds, I love them so much. Taylor Swift, I do love Taylor Swift. Also, I like a lot of 90s music, like 90s R&B, 90s hip hop. So Coven says, hi Sam, I hope you're doing well, and Raven too. Oh, my heart, thank you. How did you decide to name Raven? I don't know if you've answered this before, but I would love to know. So it's not as spooky as a lot of people think with her name being Raven and with me enjoying Halloween and horror. But in high school, I watched a show a lot on Disney Channel. It was a very popular show. I think there's like a reboot on Disney right now. I watched a few episodes, but so this show made me cackle, it made me laugh, and I just had always resonated with this actress. I just always felt close to her for some reason. Is she a Sagittarius? I feel like she is. Let me look it up. She is. That's why. That's So Raven. I was obsessed with this show. Watched it all the time, and like a little sad story. I'm not going to get into it a lot, but this is like how much it made me happy. I was dating this guy. He was my boyfriend, but he was also a jerk. I had the most awful time at prom. I made a video of it a long time ago on my channel. It's like my prom horror story, you know, the days of story time. And I remember going home and just being like, this is awful. And I turned on That's So Raven, and it lit me up. Like, it's just such a good show. I love Raven Simone. She's so funny, so like comfortable with herself. She's so confident. She's so like just so brave, and she's also like creative and artsy, and she speaks her mind without any, I don't want to say without any regret, but it just seems like she has no self-doubt. I named Raven after That's So Raven because that's what I was watching at the time. And usually if I'm having pets, I'll name them after something that I'm like watching or that connects with me during that time in my life. I actually thought about naming her Topanga because Boy Meets World. I think I also thought about naming her Diem, like Carpe Diem, because at the time I was watching, I think it was like a Road Rules Real World something, and I don't know if you guys know who she is, but her name was Diem, and she ended up passing away. But she was just like such a good human being. She was so nice, so free-spirited, and I almost named Raven that. Not from like the bird or anything spooky like that. Well, actually, That's So Raven is kind of spooky because she can read the future, so it's still spooky. Next question comes from Ronnie, and they wanted to know, what are your top 3 favorite places to visit for vacation? What are your top 3 favorite Halloween spooky songs? What's your favorite way to decompress and focus on your mental health? Looking forward to the video. The most important question, obviously, is how do I like to decompress and focus on my mental health? Trying to zone out, usually, I mean, I'm in therapy right now, but I can't unfortunately see my therapist every hour of every day. If I could, I would. I just like doing nothing. I like not having anything to worry about. I just like being with myself. I like hanging out with myself, hanging out with Raven. I just like it to be quiet. I can listen to some music, light a candle, do incense. I also enjoy taking bubble baths, and then sleep. I will start like going to bed early if I notice that I'm feeling like more cranky than usual, and I just like doing things that honestly make me happy. So if it's watching a show, if it's reading a book, I recently just started playing a video game because I am throwing it out in the universe, and people know on Discord that I'm throwing it out in the universe. I'm manifesting that I will get a Nintendo Switch one of these days to play Animal Crossing. Okay, I really want to. I know I can see the Switch. I know I'm gonna have it one of these days. But in the meantime, I recently found a game. It's through like Apple Arcade, so it's on my phone, but it's called Kimono Cats. And it has just kind of, I don't know, it's made me feel like a kid. It's something I can do by myself, that I'm entertaining myself, and I don't have to like rely on other people to bring me entertainment, keep me occupied, and also staying off my phone, staying off social media. If you guys notice, like I haven't been posting a lot on Instagram because it's just like, I don't know. We can get into that another time. It's pretty much blocking everyone and everything out and just pretending I'm in my own world. It's just me. It's just me in the one person world, in my own world. Top 3 favorite places to visit for vacation. I mean, before I lived in Salem, it was Salem. I want to go back to Seattle. That would be a really nice time, I think. And then also visiting Portland, Oregon. And then as much as I hate the sun, yes, going somewhere sunny and beachy and where there's an ocean, where it's like vacation land. You know what I mean? Like real vacation land. Yes. Top 3 favorite Halloween spooky songs. Oh, this is a tough one. Just to name a few off the top of my head, I'm gonna go with Trick or Treat by Peaches, Pretend We're Dead by L7. I actually like Abracadabra by the Steve Miller Band. This question comes from M. If you could travel anywhere, no budget, where would you go? What are some of your top goals for the year, and how is house hunting going? Since I was a kid, I've always wanted to visit Tokyo, Paris. Top goals for the year. Talk about this a lot over on my Patreon, just because I feel more comfortable to do like more personal posts. Trying to get back in the rhythm of things, focusing on myself more. I don't want to say like finding my old self. I just feel kind of lost right now. I just want to become like mentally stronger like I once was, but I just feel like I'm not there right now. A shop, just continue like my YouTube, just continue growing my community, becoming like more organized and just getting my shit together, really. House hunting isn't really going. I don't know what's going on with that. Rashawn asked, I know you mentioned you miss throwing your epic Halloween parties in Kansas. Would you ever throw a Zoom party on Halloween for all of us spooky patrons? Would love to do that. I'm gonna kind of see how the Halloween one goes. Depending on how many there are, I think it would be kind of hard to have with everyone, but maybe not. I don't know. I'll keep you guys posted. But yeah, if you want to check out the Halloween party, check out my Patreon. Christina says, I'm not sure if I'm too late, but I mostly wanted to know how you are doing. Any future plans for a virtual hangout? I kind of answered this question earlier. I'm doing all right. I do feel like I'm doing just tad bit better than I was last summer. I don't know, it honestly goes up and down every single day. It changes every day, throughout the day. Seeing a therapist on some medication, I don't really know if it's working or if I'm just getting inside my head, but I'm doing all right. And then future plans for a virtual hangout. So if you are part of the Creep It Real tier, we actually do a monthly hangout, and then I'm going to be doing a live stream soon. I may have already done it depending when this video goes up. There's always like a live stream once a month and then a hangout once a month, depending on what tier you're signed up for. So this is the last question, and this comes from Guts. I seem to remember you once said you worked remotely for a vet clinic, like doing marketing or something. Are you still doing that? Can you tell us anything about it? Sounds like a fun gig. So that is my full-time job. It's for a vet clinic. It's like contract work. I pretty much like manage their website, their social media. It's for a clinic that I worked for when I was living in Kansas. I had worked for them for a really long time, went remote while I was still in Kansas, and then thankfully so far the owner of the clinic has let me still do work for them. So yeah, that's my full-time job. Hot in here. I don't know why I thought wearing the sweater would work. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and shout out to all my patrons for supporting my Patreon for this month. Shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for being amazing and supporting my channel. It means so much to me. Thank you so much. And if you're watching today's video as a premiere with the live chat, shout out to all of you amazing friends for joining me and chatting it up. It's always so fun to hear from you guys, and be sure you give this video a thumbs up. It would mean so much to me. I love you guys. I hope you're taking care of yourself. I hope you're taking care of your physical health, mental health. I know it's not easy, but just know that I am damn proud of you for getting up, putting some deodorant on, maybe brushing your teeth. Maybe you didn't. That's okay. I'm not here to judge, because it does take a lot of work, you know? It takes a lot of work to take care of yourself. I don't know why it's so tough, but once we do it, then we're like, okay, I feel good. Like, why did I wait on this for so long? I hope this video finds you having a Halloween happy kind of day. Bye.